Shalom. Praise the Al-Bashimil Shabashim Rakakadash. Honors elders, apostles, men in truth, gardeners, truth and knowledge, and Dawadi Al-Bashimil Shah. The elders, apostles, and the men in truth, so we know this truth and knowledge. And call Yal-Bashimil Shabashim Rakakadash. Praise Yal-Bashimil Shabashim Rakakadash. Revelations. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns, like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. That relates to the two political oppositions, Democrat, Republican. You know what I mean? Or what they would call back in the ancient Rome, the plebeians and patricians, which are pretty much Democrat and Republics, man. And when you look at the Democrats and Republics, one is actually the bad cop and one plays as the good cop. But they all both work on the same beast, just opposites and contrary, opposites of polarity and contrary to one another. But they have both in common the same interests. They just do it in different ways. Let's read that again. Different ways of going about it. And beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns, like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. That lamb relates to something that's docile, but the dragon speaks with authority, going to draconic, which means potentially extreme measures, man. Number 12. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth them to dwell therein and worship the first beast, who the deadly wound was healed, because it went down for 1,000 years, and pretty much the revised Roman or Roman Greco. That power and authority from the first beast passed into the new beast, which will emerge into a new beast, which would be pretty much the revised or Roman Greco, which you would call it, through a new emergence of a power. That would be America, man. Go to, let me see, continue on. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire to come down from the heavens on earth in sight of all men. So that goes to the sorcery, witchcraft. Technology is a part of that sorcery, witchcraft. So he's going to manifest it where the people are going to say, ooh, ooh, and worship. You know what I mean? Being deceived and end up worship and relating to that, man. We can use the Project Blue Beam, what they would call the so-called UFO fake invasion. You know what I mean? That could be a form of that as well, man. Let me get the rest. 14. It's going to be a quick lesson. And he deceived them that dwelt on the earth by the means of those miracles of signs, forms of sorcery, witchcraft, powers of artificial powers of technology, which goes into the sorcery, witchcraft, and different things, which he had power to do in sight of the beast, because that power is passed down to him, given to him, and he had the power to exercise, to actually implement and do it, man. And he deceived them that dwell on earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on earth that they should make an image into the beast, which they had the wound by the sword and did live. So ultimately, they're going to be deceived to where they're going to do certain things. That image goes to the idol, man, and really, we'll go over it again. The mark is an actual physical mark, charagma. Charagma goes to a stamp or imprint. Charax is an instrument used as a palisade or stake to insert or puncture into the skin, man. And the beast represents pretty much EU, NATO, the conglomerate with America, man. And the image also goes to the system relating to the system and philosophies and ideologies relating to the system of that image, and the mark is the actual physical that's going to be implemented, where it's going to where most of the people are going to be going to have to participate in it, man, mandatorily, aggressively mandatory. And he calls it all, bold, small, great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark. That's a physical thing. The mark is a physical thing. That's going to be a physical thing going to the haragma, which is that stamp or imprint. So it's going to be a physical mark, man. Don't mix it up with the other one. That's in Ezekiel 9, 4, and 6. That's a spiritual mark. That's a whole different mark. That's a spiritual mark, relates to the exemption of judgment. So we're going to define the separation of it. The wa in Hebrew is the mark from exemption. That's a spiritual mark. Mark don't know, so they be exempt from the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yashah. But the mark relating to in Revelations goes to a physical mark, a stamp or imprint of mark that's going to be on the right or the left or the forehead, or some people might even have a little bit of both. But there's going to be a physical mark, man. It's going to be smaller than a grain of rice, man. That's what that is. So there's two different types of mark. One is an actual physical mark, and one is a spiritual mark. So the spiritual mark is a whole different thing. That relates to, go to Ezekiel 9, 4, and 6, where the angels come to pretty much, execute judgment, and on the ones who didn't have that mark of exemption. That's a spiritual mark. That's something different. All right, go back to where we at. All right. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hands or their foreheads. So all denominations of background of people are going to receive it. None going to be exempt, whether they're homeless, whether they're middle class, whether they're poor, whether they're rich. All going to, like I said, it's going to be a mandatory, where certain things are going to be required from all denominations to participate in. And no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, and the number of his name. So you're not going to be able to participate basically normally in society without this, because one day the Federal Reserve note, which is the FRNs, the currencies that we have, they're gonna be non-existent, man. So something's going to have to take its place, under a new registration of a transitional change, man. So this is going to be it, man. It's going to take the place of pretty much hard and physical cash, man. Number 18. Here's the wisdom, let him that have an understanding count the number of the beast, or is the number of a man, and it's 666, and that goes to it's a kaze stigma, which means pretty much relating to that bar graph, man. The mark where the barcodes were pretty much like a product code. When you scan it, it scans what the product is. In this case, it would be a human product, man, with that barcode, and have all the information relating when you scan that, and it'll tell everything on that relating to that product code, man. You're that product code, a human product code. Revelations 14 and 9 talks about consequence of taking these things, man. Let me see. Because if you take these things, certain things going to happen to you. You're going to be pretty much eradicated by Yahweh Shem Shah, man. Number 9, and the third angel followed them, was saying, a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in the image in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. So when you take that mark, you're pretty much bound down to the image and the beast and the beast system, man. You saying, you know, I worship you, in a matter of speaking, man, because you know you're down with the new plan. You know what I mean? In a matter of speaking, that's what that is. Read it again. And the third angel saying, followed them, saying, a loud voice, of any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark or in his forehead, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into a cup of his indignation. So that's a pure, rageful judgment, pure, nothing mixed in relating to the Lord's judgment, man. It's not mixed with anything. It's pure, 100% pure judgment, man. Indignation goes to a righteous anger, man. And he shall torment with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, the presence of the Lamb. That pretty much the lambs, the fast, the goats. Which is 2nd Ezra 9:15 talk about that more are going to perish than be saved. A wave is greater than a drop. 2/3 will be cut off in the land, and 1/3 will be left therein. They shall know it by they should know it by death, by pain. So a greater portion is going to be judged, man. Relating to this is going to be an altar on earth. They're going to be as the lambs and the goats, as an altar, offering themselves as a sacrifice to be burnt on that altar on earth, man. That's what that is. And the smoke of their torment ascended up from ever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, nor the who worship the beast and the image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name. And here is the patience of the saints. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that kept the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh, that pretty much the ones who stood stiffly relating to this truth and knowledge, man. Some are going to be put as martyrs, some are going to be put in jail, different things, man. Go to 16. He's talking about the seven vials, pretty much as forms of judgment, plagues or judgment, forms of judgment. Obviously, 7 is completion, 16 and 2. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore. So noisome, painful, man. That's the noisome and grievous, man. Cancerous type. You know, it's real cankerous, ugly looking, man. And that's for what? Receiving what? That mark, man. Let me read it. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image, man. Because when you take that mark, you're very much bowing down to the image, man, to this system, the ways of the system, man, the beast system, man. So the image goes to what? An idol, man, in a matter of speaking. So you worship it, man, relating to that. So that's a consequence related to the plagues coming on upon for taking that, man. That's what that is. And it's going to be noisome, and it's going to be very grievous, man. 20 and 4. And I saw on the thrones that I saw thrones that sat upon them, the judgment that was given to them, and saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness, which is the testimony of Yahweh Shai, man. And that relates to the martyrs, man, because you're going to have martyrs that are going to stand boldly for the faith, man. For the word and of God, and which had not worshipped beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon the foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach forever. You got testimony of different things of ones who didn't bow down to the system. Daniel and his friends, into Daniel's, where they put in the fiery furnace. The 7 brothers and their mother, 2 Maccabees and 7, where they were tortured for not bowing down to eat pork. So a lot of ones who suffered, stiffly for their belief, man. For example. Let's go to it's a quick one. Revelations 2, and we'll go to 10. Revelations 2 and 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Scripture talks about fear not the one who can kill the body, but fear the one who can both kill the body and soul in hell, man. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. So you're going to go into prison. You're going to have some going to be beheaded, as I read in Revelations 20 and 4. So suffer, that's part of the hour of trial, hour of temptation, through different things. But the ultimate hour of temptation relates to, as Revelations 13 states, where that's going to try all the inhabitants of the earth, which I will get. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. Try goes to test, and testing goes to try. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days, but be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Those who endure to end, the same shall be saved, man. So endure to the end, man, Lord willing. Go to 3 and 10. This will be the last one. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. Patience goes to tolerate and endure, bear, suffering even. Also, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Another word for that would be the hour of trial, man. Which it would be a mixture of variety of things, from being in prison, being beheaded, being on the guillotine, which would be beheaded, but ultimately relating to Revelations, as I stated, that would be the ultimate hour of trial or hour of temptation. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world. All the world is going to be subjected and subjugated to this, to try them that dwell upon the earth. So that's the ultimate hour of trial. That's all these people, including myself, will have to face, man, whatever that is, man. And none are going to be exempt from that, man, relating to in the times that's to come, man. And Lord willing to endure, and have a spirit to be able to, have a certain spirit to endure that day, man, whatever that is, man. But this is a quick lesson relating to that, the relations, and relating to that device, specifically, because all the people of the world are going to be tried ultimately in that day. They're going to be tried regarding these matters, man. All this is going to be aggressively and forcefully mandatory, man. And that being said, I hope it helps. This is Zayah Wolf. Give all praise, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shem, Rakakadash, Zayah Wolf. Hope it helps, Shalom.